You've been listening to the Secrets of Attorney Marketing podcast from Speakeasy Marketing. Call 888-225-8594 or email rj@speakeasymarketinginc.com to enhance your reputation and outmarket your competitor. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and post a review.
Hello, this is Richard Jacobs. I have Frank Deming, called the Local Business Guy. He's the president and CEO of Local Business Marketing Solutions. He's in New Jersey. I'm in Texas, as we just discussed. So welcome, Frank.
Thanks for having me, Richard.
Yeah. Well, tell me a bit about your background. How did you get into marketing in the first place?
That's kind of a long story, and I know we don't have that much time, but I was basically working for the government, and not the government. I was working for an IT service providing company that services the government. So, we used to build their websites, and we used to build all of their, anything to do with IT.
You were the lead programmer on healthcare.gov, were you? I hope not.
No, I was out of there by the time healthcare.gov.
Remember that site was like, it was like 700 or 800 million, and then of course it didn't work, so they had to fix it for another 400 million. So it was over $1 billion spent.
Yeah. No. Well, I was doing a lot of stuff for Homeland Security. I was doing a lot of stuff for the FBI, the NSA. That was more my job. Yeah. And we were doing mostly intranet work, not internet. So, but
that's pretty good. That's pretty good credentials for you, though, to work for those agencies. And, 'cause I'm sure security is very important to them, hopefully.
Yeah, man. I know enough about cybersecurity to be dangerous. I know exactly what it is to block off hackers and what hackers look for and all that stuff. So,
okay.
Yeah, but I'm sure that's advanced since, I've been out of the game for a while. So I got burnt out with that job, to answer your question, and I wanted to start something new, and I was into marketing, kind of was intrigued by the whole internet stuff. I was intrigued by the fact that someone who doesn't know you, this is not so crazy now, but back then when I started, it was like, wow, this person doesn't know me. And now they hopped on my email list, and, a month later, they're buying something from me. That always intrigued me. So I wanted to learn how to do it. I took some courses, online courses from Frank Kern. I'm sure you've heard of Frank Kern and Dan Kennedy. And I started my business in 2007, teaching business owners how to do internet marketing.
I started actually in 2008, doing some like affiliate marketing. And then I went into a couple of different things. And really 2009 is when I started with working with attorneys, and I've been doing so ever since. So similar time period.
Oh, except I didn't figure out my niche, because I also worked with attorneys until 2019. So you were 10 years ahead of me.
I've had 10 more years of difficulty. So you said 2019, your niche is exclusively attorneys now, or what's your focus? Like, what kind of clients do you have?
Exclusively attorneys. Now, I still do. I didn't get rid of all the clients that I had that weren't attorneys. But in terms of my marketing, my messaging and everything, it's just geared towards attorney. I still have a few HVAC legacy clients, plumbing legacy clients, some home improvement clients, at spa, waterproofing. I still have those. Not rid of them, but I'm not messaging to them anymore, if that makes sense.
So with the attorneys, what kind of strategies and activities are you doing for them? Are you redoing their websites, or what kind of things you see that they need in marketing?
Yeah, a lot of them, they usually come to me if they're doing marketing already, but they're not getting the results that they like. So some of them are just not doing the right PPC strategy, let's say, for example, or some of their SEO strategies are a little outdated. Some of them are looking to just get some local SEO going on the map pack. We have a couple of packages that are just display ads that are a little slower than the regular aggressive Google ads. And then they're saying, oh, you know what? I'll take that because I'm already doing Google ads, but if you could do some display ads as well, yeah, I'll do that as well.
So an attorney, let's say, is doing Google AdWords or pay-per-click, and then you're adding on what, banner display ads?
Correct.
Okay. And have you seen that's been effective for certain practice areas or for attorneys across the board?
It's very effective for divorce, personal injury, estate planning, not so much for bankruptcy. There's not a lot of traffic right now. It depends on the state, of course. Criminal law, not much, but definitely estate planning, family law, and personal injury.
Oh, nice. Okay. Are you using Google's platform to do it with DoubleClick, or use other platforms?
Yes. Google's
platform. So some of it's banner ads, and what else? What's like a more advanced package that you'll do?
So we combine. So if they're not doing SEO, with what we do is we combine the banner ads based on there's There's certain services that we can use that actually tracks the trends of the people who are searching for, say, a divorce, right, for the past 6 months. I can go as back as 18 months, to be honest. But let's just say 6 months, or people have recently visited a hospital or DMV, all this. We can follow them around and say, oh, this person is most likely to be a candidate for, say, personal injury, just got into a car accident or whatever. Or this person has been typing for the past 2 months. Hey, how do I cure a dog bite or something like that? That's a personal injury. Hey, I just fell in my job. Do I have a claim? So we show those people specifically ads. Now, it's a slower process than just regular PPC because the only time they see those ads is if they type those in the past. That's the only time they see it. So that's a little bit more sophisticated.
More targeted, though.
It's a lot more targeted. It's a little bit more sophisticated. We also do OTT, which is over the top with some video. So if you're watching, because no one's really watching like cable TV anymore. That's dead pretty much. Everyone's streaming. So if you're on Sling or Hulu or any of those things that allow advertising, we put you on there as well. So that's another difference that we have over other markets.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anyone in the attorney space doing that. So that's great. That's a great niche. And if it's working, that's excellent.
Yeah, it's working. Now, again, it's not the fastest thing in the world because it has to build a database. It has to collect it's not a lead list, but an audience list. And then once it collects this data, you'll start seeing the results. So usually, I always tell people, hey, if you have, if you give me 3 months, I'm going to show you some results, but they got to give me at least 3 months. You'll get some dribs and drabs in the first 2 months here and there, but it doesn't really start accelerating until month 4.
Oh, because Google slowly builds an audience for you, or why does it take so much time?
And again, this is all depends on, because in New York City is a lot faster because it's more populated in New York City, but more searches. It takes time because it builds an audience for you. It's not, it has to build at least 100 type of profiles, if they call it profiles, 100 types of profiles of those people who are most likely to contact you. Sometimes it takes, again, I always ask for 3 months because I know by month 4, you're going to see those results a bit faster. But technically, within the first month, you should start seeing calls after the first 30 days. And it all depends on the search volume.
Sure. What practice areas do you see it works well for?
Personal injury, family law, estate planning. That one actually works pretty decently with bankruptcy.
What about criminal defense? That's a big one.
I have yet to, I don't have a criminal defense attorney right now, so I cannot answer that. It works decent for business law and any kind of healthcare. Decent. Okay. I wouldn't say exceptional on those, but decent.
Well, when something works well in the display network, what does that mean? They're getting how many leads a month on average? I know everyone's different, but
yeah, everyone's different. On average, my personal injury folks are looking at anywhere between 10 to 17. I'm going to be very specific here. 10 to 17 leads that have converted into 5 to 7 clients per month. So
you're saying you're getting a 50% conversion rate?
Now, personal injury is easy because it's not a lot of convincing there. You don't have to say, okay, give me a $10,000 retainer and you're done. It's free.
On the back, it's not free totally. On the back,
no, it's not. No, on the back, yeah. That's why we got a good return on this. On the family law, it's a little longer. It's a little less. Excuse me, because it all depends on how much money your potential client has and how badly they want to get divorced or have this child custody battle or whatever the case is.
Right. Okay. So what else are you doing in addition to the display network? What other types of advertising?
We're about to start getting in, because we don't do this now, but we're about to start getting into email marketing. So I'm currently in the midst of looking for partners to do that because that's not my zone of genius. My zone of genius is lead generation. But I like the whole low-hanging fruit stuff. So if you have a database already of people who you work with, or who you come across your marketing, you definitely want to keep them in the pipeline, top of mind. And email marketing is the way to go. So I'm in the midst of trying to grow that side of it.
What does that mean? At what point would someone become an email marketing candidate? What's the flow?
For instance, a bankruptcy attorney, an estate planning attorney, a family law attorney. If you don't have a lot of let's say 2 call closes, I call it. You need some kind of top of mind thing going on in the back. And I'm thinking that email marketing along with some text marketing will work. And again, this is all speculation on my end here. I'm thinking that's going to work. I'm also working on automating their intake for them, for the attorneys. Me and a couple of buddies of mine are working on that. So that's going to be released sometime in March, where we automate everything, go right into my case, right into Clio, what's that called, Lawmatics, and, just to help them out. Especially, that's mostly geared towards the solo practitioner who doesn't have a lot of help in the back end, in the back office.
You mean case management software like Clio and things like that?
It's going to integrate with this case management software. So,
right. I mean, the person won't be a client, but they'll be a potential new client. So you still want the attorney to have them in their software, like a CRM.
Right.
So they can follow up with people and not lose track of them.
Correct. I'm also in the midst of implementing, and that's a little bit further down the road, maybe in June or sometime this year, a help desk. So not a help desk, but an answering service for attorneys. We're going to be working with training people who know how to answer things like, for personal injury type law, for family, for, estate planning. Again, I'm looking for criminal law. I'm hoping to work with a couple of criminal lawyers out there in the future. But I want to get, a person to answer those calls for them. And again, this is more geared towards the solo practitioner that doesn't have this already.
So you're working, but what are you doing right now? Are you just doing the display ads, or are you, again, have a higher level program where you're doing additional work?
No. All I do is standard lead generation through Google and Bing. A lot of people forget about Bing. There's a lot of searches on Bing. And, SEO. And of course, we do also do web development, but that's not our main focus. Our main focus was creating a landing page that converts, get some ad clicks on there and start getting some leads for the clients. That's our main focus.
Okay. All right. And you deal with usually small firms like solos up to maybe 2 or 3 attorneys, or do you deal with larger firms?
Just solos and 2 or 3 attorneys. That's really what we work with. At some point, I would love to work with more larger firms, but I have to come up with a strategy for that.
Right. Yeah. Well, what about AI? Everyone's in love with this Chat GPT stuff.
GPT.
We tried it. I mean, I just think it's
what's your take on it?
It creates content that's full of platitudes and just generic junk. And a lot of times it's wrong. So we've had to, we've tried it, but the amount of time needed to edit an article or a piece of content to make sure it's factually correct and that it flows right, and it's not just, garbage that won't be compelling, that takes more than just doing it from scratch. But hopefully that'll change. Yeah,
they're actually working on making some improvements on it. Now, are you familiar with Jasper AI?
Yeah, that and Chris. There's a few other ones that we're looking at trying to string together,
Word Hero. So those I find are better than the Chat GPT. And what we're doing is, creating just for ideas. That's it. We don't, and it may be titles and headlines, but ideas. We don't use it as, I can create a blog post for a client. No, we're using it basically just a help for an idea. So the way I see it, because people always ask me about this now, ChatGPT and all these other AI tools is simply used. It's like, let's say, we want to, there's a nut on the wall that you want to screw down. Now you can use a screwdriver, kind of just use it the old fashioned way and screw it in. Or you could get a nice little, a drill that has a screw bit in it, and you're done. So that is what ChatGPT is to me, is that tool where you can, let me get some headline ideas. Let me get some title ideas. Let me get some ideas. Okay, now so it's taking that away from you. All right, I like these ideas. All right, let's go. Let me start. That's how I see it.
Okay. So the attorneys that you work with, are they usually patient? And once you get them to the 3 or 4 month mark, they're happy? Or what's the experience that you've had in working with these people?
So far, they've been very, very happy. They like they like how ready these people are to let's start doing this. They're getting less, I don't really have that much money for this. You're getting less of that. This audience build thing is incredible because you can tell it exactly who you're looking for. And on the internet, as you know, Richard, you could know pretty much, you can go within a few $1,000s of someone's salary. So if one of your attorneys says, I don't want anybody that's making $30,000, they won't even see the ads. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great that it's that targeted. Yeah, that's
very targeted. Crazy. It's scary and it's crazy at the same time.
So, I mean, what do you do with the ad network? Are you able to ramp it up, or does it run into a wall where you can only get so many leads from it, or what have you observed?
Yeah, that's one thing, and they're working on it. The technology is only around for the past 5 years, which is like 100 years in IT world. But anyway, it does hit a wall, depending on, of course, your area. Now, if you're in New York, I don't know, because there's a lot of people in New York. But I have seen it get a little. I've got an attorney in Jupiter, Florida, which is not a big town. But, he's not too far from bigger towns. And I've seen his lead flow stagnate a little bit, but we're able to expand. And now, because of COVID, it's not a bad thing because people aren't, a lot of times they're taking these intakes on Zoom or whatever tool. So that's a pretty cool thing.
Okay. I mean, what other trends are you seeing right now? Again, it sounds like you're evaluating AI for use with the attorneys, possibly. I don't hear any decision being made yet. I think that's where everyone's at. But what do you see as the future over this next year? How are you going to be, conducting your marketing in such a way as to help attorneys best?
Well, yeah. So my focus again is on email marketing, like keeping people top of mind, streamlining their intake process. I want to add more values to the clients that I have and showcase that value to new clients that I don't have yet. That's my focus right now. And then, like I said, down the road is create that call center and everything. So that way they can be a lawyer. They can just work on cases. They don't have to worry about the calls that we're getting. If I can, and also work on some chat bots that help them with people who don't want to call and they just want to go on the chat and do an intake on that. Automation is my focus.
Okay. So automation, again, what areas in an attorney's practice? I mean, you have your own, which is great, but in an attorney's practice, have you spoken to them about automation? Yeah.
So, because what I did was I created a survey towards the middle of last year with the clients that I do have, only the attorneys. When I said, hey, what would make your life, what are your pain points, specific questions. And based on that is where I'm coming up with my strategy of how I'm going to help them more this and beyond.
Oh, is there anything you can share, a particular area that they're frustrated with, that they want better automation in?
A lot of them are having a hard time with follow-ups. And that's why I came up with the whole, if I could have this call center do that for them, that's one thing. That could help them. That a lot of them have a lot of times, and also email marketing is another follow-up process that
Are they asking you for these things for follow-ups and email marketing, or? No,
that's what this is what I identify what they need based on the survey that I sent them.
Okay, makes sense. No, because, as with a marketing mind and an eye like you have, you're going to see things that they should do, but they may not realize or have enough education that they should do that or how to do it, or even that it's important or that it's doable.
Exactly.
For instance, a lot of attorneys say, if I don't convert them on the first call, forget it. There's no point you getting back to them. They're going to go with someone else. So that's something to be overcome, that mindset I've seen.
Yeah, I do love that one call close. Yeah, I agree. So that's why I'm trying to address this, So let's see if I could get them to, that's the reason why I sent out the survey, to get more in-depth information about who they are, what they're looking for. And I phrased it in a way so they don't think I was just seeking information. And based on the answers, I know this is going to help them tremendously.
You've been listening to the Secrets of Attorney Marketing podcast from Speakeasy Marketing. Call 888-225-8594 or email rj@speakeasymarketinginc.com to enhance your reputation and outmarket your competitor. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and post a review.